Namaste, beautiful yogis. This is going to be a moderate to high intensity power yoga class, Vinyasa flow with elements of interval training. Let's begin at the front of our mat, feet together. Open your arms out to the sides, palms facing forward. Drop the shoulders back and down, chin parallel to the floor, lifting the kneecaps up. As you exhale, allow your feet to sink through your mat. As you inhale, open the chest, vibrant. Let's open the arms out to the sides, drop the shoulders down. Big breath in, and let's bring the hands all the way over the head. Relaxing the shoulders, extending the tailbone down. Inhale, open your arms out and down to the sides. And let's bring the right foot into the left thigh, or you can bring your right foot into your left calf. Open the knee out to the side, extend your tailbone down, press your thigh into your foot, and hold tree pose. You can close your eyes for a moment. Slowly coming out of it and switching sides. Left knee into the right thigh. Eyes closed or open, bringing the breath into the focus of this vinyasa. And step your foot back down. Inhale your hands all the way over your head, and let's grab the right wrist with the left hand. Keep your elbows back in the same line with your ears and reach up and over your head in a side twist. Switching sides, really lengthening. Find a lot of length along your torso. And coming back up, let's go one more time. Right hand reaches up and over, palm of the hand facing down, shoulders down. You can look up. Keep your left elbow back. Keep your tailbone extended down. Inhale, lift and lengthen over to the other side. Trying to keep both sides of your torso lengthening here. Feet are equally sinking into your mat. And let's inhale the hands over the head. Exhale, folding forward in a forward bend. You can keep your knees slightly bent. And let's clasp the fingers and bring the hands on the back of the head, allowing the upper body to hang heavy. Allowing the neck to stretch, allowing the shoulders to relax. Inhale, lift, look ahead of you. And with a straight back, come all the way up to standing, reaching over the head and over the heart. Big breath in, hands over the head. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, look ahead of you, flat back. And let's bring the hands on the floor, step back into plank. Holding a nice strong plank, press your heels towards the back of the room. Keep your chest open and let's go into side plank. Right hand on the floor, right shoulder over the wrist. Reach in front of you, still in side plank. Bring your hand back down on the floor in plank. And over to the other side. Left wrist under the left shoulder. Reach over your head with your right hand. And reach towards the front of the room. And let's bring both hands on the floor, plank. And one more time, right hand on the floor, left arm reaches over, reach in front of you. This time bring your hips parallel to the floor, level with the floor, reach in front of you with your left arm, keep your hips steady, and lower down. Switching sides, right arm reaches up, keep your hips lifted, and let's reach up and over the head. Level your hips with the floor and reach with your right arm in front of you. And release your hand on the floor. Lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Back to chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. And let's step the feet between the hands. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, look ahead of you. Hands on the shins. Exhale. One more time, bow down. Inhale, flat back, look ahead of you. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, hands on the shin bones, look ahead of you, and this time come all the way up to standing. Hands over the heart. And take a big, nice breath in, hands over the head. Exhale, lower down, all the way on the floor. Inhale, look ahead of you. Step back into plank. Inner thighs are squeezing towards the midline. Spread the fingers wide open. And let's take side plank. Right hand on the floor. Left arm reaches up. You can look up. Next level is to bring your left foot into your right inner thigh. First side plank with tree pose. And you can reach with your hand in front of you. Lower your hand on the floor. Stay in tree pose if you can. Take plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog. Still holding tree if you can. And back to chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Still holding tree. And you can release your foot back down on the floor. Bring the top part of your foot, toes on the floor to stretch your foot. And let's cross the left foot in front of the right one. Walk your hands to the back of your mat and stay in a forward fold for a few breaths. And let's walk the hands to the front of the mat. Uncross your feet, step in downward facing dog. And let's take plank. Side plank over to the other side. Left hand on the floor. Reach with your right hand all the way over your head. And let's bring the right foot into the left inner thigh. Tree pose, side plank. Lift your hips high. Keep your belly in. Connection of the foot with the inner thigh is active. Reach with your right hand over your head, still keeping the hips lifted. Lower down. Tree pose plank. Tree pose chaturanga. Do your best. Tree pose upward facing dog. Tree pose and back to chaturanga and back to downward facing dog. And release. Good job. And let's stretch the toes on the right side. bringing the toes down on the floor. And now let's cross the right foot in front of the left foot and walk the hands back to the end of the mat, holding a forward bend. You can take both hands around your ankles or you can keep them on the floor for balance. Breathe into your hamstrings. This is targeting the stretch in a little different way. And let's walk the hands to the front of the mat. Coming back into downward facing dog, take your right leg up, step your right foot between your hands, taking high lunge, reach ahead of you. Pull your belly in and keep your chest over your thigh. Keep your back flat. Press the back heel away from you. And we're going to bring the hands on the floor in front of us and tuck the knee into the chin 5 times. Really pull your belly in as you do that. Look ahead of you in between each rep. And when you're done with your 5 reps, step straight back into high lunge and reach your hand over your head. Let's clasp the hands and reach over to the right side, getting a nice stretch in the hip flexors, psoas. And let's come out of this, open your arms out and twist over to your right side. We're gonna drop one hand, the right hand, down on the left leg and reach with your left hand up towards the sky. Slowly coming out of this, hands on the floor, step back plank, lower down chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, roll the shoulders back and down. Back to chaturanga, exhale, downward facing dog. Spread your fingers wide open, pull your belly in and up, Uddiyana Bandha. And let's take the left leg up, step your left foot between your hands. Lunge. You're gonna reach way ahead of you, press the back heel away from you. Always be aware of your back leg. We tend to think about the leg that's in front of us. Think about both legs. And let's bring the hands on the floor and do 5 knee tucks here. Round your back as you do that and really pull, draw your navel in as you bring your knee in. When you're done with your 5 reps, you can go straight back into high lunge. And let's reach with the hands all the way over the head. Clasp your hands, reach over to your left side stretch. Extend your tailbone down and really breathe into your obliques, hip flexors here. Open your arms out, twist to your left. And let's drop the left hand on the right leg, the back of the right leg. Reach with your right arm up and over. And breathe. You can look up. Here the sun is blazing, so I couldn't look up. And let's reach over the head. Exhale, hands on the floor. Step into plank. Lower down chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Back to chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pull your belly in and up. Walking in place here. Tailbone is reaching high. Shoulders away from the ears. Try not to hyperextend your elbows here if you tend to do that. And let's inhale the right leg up and bring it across from your body, trying to keep your hips square. Bring your leg back to center. And let's open the right foot all the way to the right. Lift it as high as you can, keeping the hips square again. And come into plank with your leg out to the side. Lift it up. And go all the way back into downward facing dog. Step your foot back down. Left leg comes up. Bring it across. Flex your foot. Keep your hips square, shoulders square. You can point your toes as you flex them, point them so that they're pointed down, they're directed down. And let's come out of this and bring the leg all the way to the side, using your hip muscles to lift your leg and come into plank. Leg out to the side and all the way back. Step it back down, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg comes up, roll your right hip on top of your left hip, bend your knee, drop your foot behind you, breathe into your inner thighs, hip flexors, hamstrings, feel looseness, feel ease in your body, feel fluidity. And let's bring the leg back to center and step it between your hands. Right foot between the hands, lunge, drop your left hand on the floor, right arm reaches up, twist. And let's bring the right hand up and over the head towards the front of the room. Press your right hip back as you do that, so there is a lot of space between your hip and your shoulder. And let's bring both hands on the center. In the center of the mat, in the inside of the right foot, bring your feet together and do 5 jumps. Hands are in star alignment. The jumps are plank to side plank. The side plank is demonstrated. It's on the side of the left foot. Chaturanga, feet are still sideways, and you can come into normal upward facing dog and back to downward facing dog. If you need to do this again and watch it first, do that. Let's take the left leg up, lift your left hip on top of your right hip, and really try to lift your knee here. Drop the back foot behind you and really breathe. Try to find fluidity. Back to center, square your hips. And let's step the left foot between the hands into high lunge. Drop the right hand on the inside of the left foot, twist. Twisting here, try to keep the weight on your feet and on your legs, not on your right arm. The shoulder should be light here. You can extend your left hand in front of you towards the front of the room and find space along the obliques. Press your hip back. Hands in star alignment. I'm thinking here to stretch my hip slightly before I go into the jumps. And now stack your feet on top of each other, side plank alignment, and just jump them 5 times to your hands and back. Breathe. And we're gonna bring the hands in chaturanga alignment, upward facing dog, back to chaturanga, exhale, downward facing dog. Pull the belly in and up. Relax your neck, relax your face, soften your jaw, soften your gaze, cultivate inner smile, corners of the lips are lifted, smiling. And let's take the right leg up, bring the right knee to your right elbow and back. Second time, we're gonna go for 5 on each side. Try to really breathe as you bring your knee in towards your elbow and going back out to downward facing dog. Last one, you're gonna bring your right foot on top of the elbow and go into an optional arm balance. You will have to stop here and watch it if you are not familiar with this arm balance. And jump back to chaturanga and back to downward facing dog. Let's take the right foot between the hands, come up high lunge, exhale, left elbow on the outside of the right knee, open the chest, drop the shoulders down. Exhale, soften the belly, go deeper, open the chest wider, relax the shoulders. Press the back heel away from you, firm the front of your thigh. the front of your left leg. As you exhale, completely come out of this twist, back to high lunge. Bring the left hand on the floor and roll onto the outer edges of your feet here, coming into a hip opener. You can find sinking, or you can find the place where the hips really enjoy it, and stay there for a breath. To come out of this, bring your hands on the floor and step back into plank. Moving into a Vinyasa, upward facing dog, back to Chaturanga, exhale, downward facing dog. Pull your belly in and up, inner smile, corners of the lips smiling. Inhale, left leg comes up, bring your knee in towards your elbow. Second time. Let's go 3 times. Inhale, extend the leg, and as you exhale, bring your knee in and contract your belly. Last one, either hold it here or you can go into the optional arm balance. You can play with it. Have fun with your arm balances. Jump back, Chaturanga. Inhale. Upward facing dog, back to Chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Drawing the navel in. And let's step the left foot between the hands. Come up, high lunge. Hands in prayer, and exhale, bring your right elbow on the outside of your left knee, coming into a twist. Work with your breath. Exhale, go deeper into your twist. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. Inhale, open the chest, widen the back, lengthen, elongate the spine, elongating through the crown of the head. Keep pressing the back heel away from you. On the end of your exhalation, come out of this, bring your hands on the inside of your foot, come onto the outer edges of your feet, and find the place where it feels good for your hips to get a small stretch. Step it back, plank. Chaturanga, upward facing dog, back to Chaturanga, exhale, downward facing dog. Spread the fingers wide open, lifting the hips high. Exhaling through your hamstrings here, deepening your stretch, keeping your heels down. Inhale, right leg comes up. We're gonna go into balancing here. Bend your right knee and see if you can grab your right foot with your left hand. Keep looking at one point that you have chosen in front of you on your mat and hold it for 1 second or half a second or for a minute, however long you can hold the balance. Switching sides over to the other side. Try to keep your mind steady. This is why we do balancing poses in yoga, is to cultivate a calm and peaceful mind. Try not to doubt the pose or the moment. Just keep your mind steady. And let's step the feet down on the floor, coming back into downward facing dog. Drop your knees on the floor. Bring your right hand across from your body, right back of the right shoulder on the floor, the back of the head on the floor, and stretch your shoulder here. You can extend your left arm forward. Inhale, coming out of this. Exhale, twisting over to the other side. Really try to bring the back of your shoulder on the floor, and not your ear on the floor, but the back of your neck. If this doesn't feel comfortable to you, stay in child's pose. Inhale, coming out of this, back into downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg comes up. Exhale, right foot between the hands. Inhale, lift over your head. Exhale, twist. left elbow, right knee. Inhale, you can spread your arms open. Either stay here or you can clasp your hands behind you. Try to find a comfortable clasp, and once you clasp, peel your torso off of your right thigh. Open your chest, drop your shoulders down, look ahead of you and step your back foot in. Stepping onto your left foot, come up to standing, still holding your leg, and extend that right foot in front of you with a twist. Slowly reversing the movement, step all the way back. I actually lost it, but it doesn't matter, you just continue with it. I lost a little bit of my balance, and that is the whole point. You just come back to your breath. And let's unclasp, bring one hand down on the floor, one up towards the ceiling. And let's transition into side crow. Look ahead of you. Split your legs, step back, lunge. Open your arms out. High lunge, come up. Open your arms out. Holding your lunge. Extend the tailbone slightly down, pull your belly in. Exhale, hands on the floor. Step back, plank. Lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, back to chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg comes up. Exhale, left foot between the hands. Inhale, come up, high lunge. Hands over the heart. Twist. Breathe. Press the back heel away from you. Be aware of your back leg, your right leg. It should be firing up. And let's extend one hand on the floor, one up towards the ceiling. Next step, optional, is to clasp your hands behind you, bound, lunge with a twist. And let's step the right foot to the front of the mat and begin to slowly come up, standing on your right leg. Begin to straighten the left leg in front of you. Look back over your left shoulder, twisting here. Slowly reverse the movements. Lower down and step back into bound, twist, lunge. And you can extend one hand up and one down. Optional. Next level is to go into side crow, or you can stay in the previous lunge pose. And again, reversing the movement, coming to high lunge, open the arms out to the sides. Pull the belly in, press the back heel away from you, fire up the right leg. Exhale, both hands on the floor, stepping back, plank. And let's bring the knees on the floor, open them out. Plant your hands on the floor and sit back without moving your hands here, extended puppy pose. You're gonna spread your fingers open and really press your fingers down into your mat and try to sit back without actually moving your hands in order to stretch fully the spine. And you can lower your chest down towards the floor for a back bend. Great. Coming out of this, back to downward facing dog. Allowing the head to hang heavy. Relaxing the neck. Let's come on to the tippy toes and jump into forward bend. Take chair pose, sit back. Inhale, come up to standing. And let's standing on the left leg, we're gonna bring the right foot in half lotus, and if you can, go to the next level and wrap your right arm behind you and around, grabbing the big toe. And the next level is going into a forward bend. You can see in the previous level. If you're in forward bend, try to relax your breath and deepen your pose on an exhalation. Really try to connect to your breath, having awareness of your body through your breath. To come out of this, keep your back straight, come up to standing. Lift your left arm all the way over your head. Exhale. And let's bring the right elbow up, right arm by your ear, and see if you can clasp with your left hand behind you, opening the shoulders. Release your hands out. Step down, switch sides, standing on the right side, left foot in half lotus. And let's wrap the left arm back and around to grab the big toe. Lift right hand overhead, exhale, flat back, lower down, forward bend, breathe. There is a massaging action of your foot on the abdomen if you go deep enough in this pose. Very beneficial for the internal organs, digestion, detox. Soften your breath, soften your chest. Relax your back. Relax your hip. Inhale, look ahead of you. And let's come up to standing. Try to maintain your balance here. This is definitely a challenging pose for your balance. Next, clasp your hands behind you. Keep your left arm by your torso, by your rib cage, as close as you can. Work your elbow as close to you as you can. And you can unclasp and step back down. Inhale, open your hands forward. And let's do a few side stretches here. Try to keep your tailbone slightly tucked under and reach side to side. Those are also called waist trimmers. They have a nice effect on the obliques. Continue with a few more of those. Inhale, hands over the head, sit down, chair pose. Exhale, hands on the floor, forward bend. You can hug your legs in a forward bend. If you're going deep enough here, you can wrap your hands behind your legs, or you can keep your hands on the floor on your shin bones. Always stay with your level and adjust everything for your body. Let your head be heavy. Inhale, come halfway up, look ahead of you, hands on the floor or on your shin bones. Exhale, folding forward. One more time, head is heavy. Inhale, look ahead of you. And let's bring the hands on the floor and jump the feet down into Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Come into side plank, left hand on the floor, right arm reaches up. Extend your right arm forward, come to plank, Chaturanga, over to the other side. Side plank, lift, reach, plank, Chaturanga. And again, left side. Side plank, reach, Chaturanga. Switching sides, right side plank, reach, lower down, Chaturanga. Inhale, lift, side plank, reach, and Chaturanga. Keep going with your breath. Adjust if you need to adjust your Chaturangas on your knees. Chaturanga. Side plank, left side. Exhale, hands on the floor. Chaturanga. Right side, side plank. And Chaturanga. Left side, side plank. Keep going. Chaturanga. Right side plank. Chaturanga. Left. Lift. Keep your hips lifted. And finish it off. And we're gonna do a few plank jumps here. doing a chaturanga in between each one of them. You can keep your hands in star alignment and do close grip push-ups. Jumping feet forward and back, close grip push-up, jumping feet forward and back, close grip push-up. Jumping feet back to plank, close grip push-up. And again, jump and do push-up. Jump. And go back into plank. Let's do knee tucks side to side. Bringing opposite knee to elbow for 10. When you're done, exhale in downward facing dog. Spread the fingers wide open, keep your shoulders away from your ears. Keep your heels heavy, lowering down towards your mat. Inhale, right leg comes up. Exhale, right foot between your hands. Inhale, come up. And let's straighten both legs. Keep your hips square. Reach with your left hand in front of you and lower down. Try to keep that length. Try to keep your hips level. Either stay here in revolving triangle pose, or we're gonna deepen this and clasp the hands underneath the leg for a bound revolving triangle. Slowly coming out of this, reach with your right hand in front of you and push your right hip back. And release both hands on the floor into intense side stretch. Keeping the hips square. Keep your back heel down on the floor. Inhale, look ahead of you. Hands over the heart, back flat. Come up to standing and bring here you're gonna bring your right ankle right above your left knee, and you're gonna come into half squat, straighten your leg and forward bend. Great hip opener. Inhale, come up to standing, keep your knee there, keep your ankle over your knee and come down into a one-legged squat. To come out of this, go back into warrior 3 and step all the way back into a lunge. Hands on the floor. Jump your feet to switch your feet and come up, lunge on the left side. Straighten your front leg. Bring your right hand in front of you. Make sure your hips are square here and lower down, revolving triangle pose. Parivrita Trikonasana. And you can stay here. This is a really challenging pose. Or you can go ahead and clasp your hands behind you, threading them underneath your leg. Try to keep your torso lifted here. Sides are lengthening, the sides of your body and lengthening. And release one hand down, one up towards the ceiling. Let's reach with the left hand forward. Exhale, both hands on the floor, intense side stretch. Keeping the hips level, keeping the back heel down on the floor. Inhale. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, go a little deeper. And let's bring the hands over the heart. Bend your front knee and come into a one-legged squat. Keep your right ankle just above your left knee, hands on the floor. Straighten your leg and go into a forward bend. Breathe into your right hip here, left hamstring. This is an advanced flexibility pose, and it does feel very good when you go deep into those muscles. Come back into one-legged chair and come all the way up to standing for a few more side stretches. Clasp your hands and reach. side to side twice. Exhale. When you're done, into a forward bend, and you can thread your hands behind your legs and grab your shin bones. Inhale, look ahead of you. Exhale, hands on the floor. Jump back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And let's bring the right hand to the left ankle. Look underneath the opposite shoulder and switch. Spread the fingers open on the floor and back to downward dog. Let's release the legs down on the floor. Prepare for rabbit pose. You're gonna curl your spine here and bring the top of your head on the floor, your forehead as close to your knees as possible, holding your heels. You can roll past the top of your head to stretch the neck gently. Do not place weight onto your head. Try to keep the weight on the lower body. And if you're not familiar with this pose, just skip it all together. Come out of it and come into a plank for side cross-body kicks. 10 reps, 5 on each side. Staying in plank and bringing your foot across from your body. You don't have to really kick, just bring your foot side to side. Once you're done, we're gonna do skips or jumps side to side, bringing the feet to the wrists, side to side, left to right. 10. And when you're done, come into downward facing dog and step your right foot between your hands. Come up, warrior 1, open, warrior 2. Let's bring the right hand up and over the head. Left arm reaches down the left leg. And coming out of this, lower down in side angle. Let's bring the left arm over the head and really stretch the top of your body. Lowering down into splits, half splits, wherever you are with splits, stay there. Work on flexibility here. Even if you're very far from doing splits, you can keep your front knee bent. And slowly coming out of this, inhale, left leg up. Exhale, left foot between your hands. Come up, warrior 1. And let's prepare for warrior 2. Sink a little deeper here. Bring the left arm up and over your head. Walk your right hand down the right leg. Keep your front knee bent. Inhale, come up. Exhale, lower left hand on the inside of your left foot. Side angle pose. Bring the right hand over your head towards the front of the room, really lengthening the top side of your body here. And lower down, work on your splits. Try to keep your hips square. Slowly coming out of this, all the way back into downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg reaches up. Exhale, right foot between the hands, and let's go into side angle. This time keep your right hand on the outside rather than the inside of your right foot and press your knee into your armpit. And transition into half moon here. Of course, you can go a little deeper with your half moon and lift your hand off the floor, balancing just on one leg. Keep your hips stacked on top of each other and step back into side angle. This time bring your hand on the inside of your foot, both hands on the floor, lower your left knee on the floor and hold here. Stretch your hip flexor. Keep your right knee behind your right ankle or above, not over the toes. Slowly come up. You can work your shoulder underneath your knee here, or even your head, to go a little deeper into this hip opener. And let's roll on the outer edges of the feet. Here you may have to stop the video and just find this pose for you. And let's lower the knee on the floor, coming into pigeon. Take your time with pigeon. Pigeon is one of the poses that really pays off if you have the patience to hold it. So if you have time and desire, of course, you can hold it for a minute or 2 or 3 on each side. Make sure your alignment is spot on, your hips are square. If you're not sure about your alignment, try to study it. Try to see how you perform the pose. Try not to hold a pose that you're not holding properly for a long time or any time. You really want to know where your hips are in space. We don't see our hips when we do yoga, especially forward bends. They're behind us. So it's good to have the awareness of space in your body, where your body is. Always try to be connected. Slowly begin to walk your hands back in towards you. Hands on the floor, step into one-legged downward facing dog. A few knee circles. You can bring your right knee as high as you can. You can draw toe circles. Breathe into your hip. And let's switch sides over to the other side. Left foot steps between the hands, side angle, left arm on the outside of the left knee. Reach over your head towards the front of the room. Open your hip, right hip on top of the left. Lengthen both sides of your torso. And let's step forward into half moon. Flex your back foot. Try to open your hips. I'm again challenged by the bright sun. Balancing is really difficult when you can't open your eyes. And slowly go back into side angle. Really try to lengthen the top side of your body. Bring both hands on the floor and lower down. Breathe. Really try to maintain a calm, deep, even breath. This is a really great way to prepare for pigeon. Great for runners. You can work your shoulder underneath your knee or even your head. And roll onto the outer edges of your feet here. You should feel this in your hip. Really try to get in those areas of your hip that need to be open. And let's prepare for pigeon. Left knee forward, keeping the hips level, lower down, keeping the spine elongated, ribcage lifted. And coming back to our breath. Exhaling through your hips. With each exhalation, feel as if your body is melting into your mat. You're becoming less solid and more fluid. These are all mental images that can help you with flexibility. Visualization is a great way to improve your athletic performance. Slowly begin to walk your hands back in towards you. Come up to one-legged downward facing dog. Staying off of your left leg, draw circles with your toes, with your knee. Keep your shoulders aligned. Step it back down. Let's come onto the tippy toes, lower down, and drop your knees on the floor. Here, I'm gonna demonstrate this one time and then we're gonna do it 2 more times. So I'm doing it 3 times so that you can see this pose is real unusual. So I'm gonna grab my same side leg with my same side hand, right foot, and roll back down into a form of a plow and open the left leg out to the side, roll onto the back of my neck, hold it, and then come out of it. That was just a demonstration. Now we're gonna do it first on the left side and then on the right again. Left hand, left foot. Then you're gonna open your right leg out to the side and begin to roll on the back. If you find the balance here, you shouldn't roll over. If you are not comfortable with plows, skip this pose. If you're not sure how to do it, skip it. Maybe watch it a few times or try to read about it or try to practice plow for a while. Coming out of it, going into a side stretch. You can just reach with your hand up in the air or grab your foot. And coming out of this, we're gonna go over right hand, right foot. Grab your foot from the inside and open your left leg out, holding both feet. One knee is bent, one straight. You can eventually straighten them both, but here we're just doing it with one right knee bent, left leg straight. Slowly rolling out of it, stretching the inner thighs. Side stretch, seated. One more stretch for the adductors. And come back onto all fours, sit back, child's pose. Inhale, coming out of child's pose. Let's come into a seated. Feet parallel to each other, hip width apart, come into a tabletop. Slowly lower down. And let's come down onto our backs. Bridge. Clasp your hands underneath you and begin to work your chest towards your chin, really extending the tailbone towards your knees here. Keep your feet parallel to each other. You can lift your toes off the floor, press into all four corners of each foot. Keep working the chest open. When you lower down from this pose, lower down one vertebra at a time, and you can go into a supine twist. Switching sides. Keep your shoulders down on the floor. Happy baby. Holding the outer edges of the feet here. Pressing the knees down by the rib cage. You can rock side to side. Let's grab the back of the knees here and begin to rock back and forth a few times. Making the rocking bigger and bigger so that you're coming all the way up and rocking all the way back, massaging your spine. Up until you come up into a seated. Let's bring the right foot into the left inner thigh. Reach up and over. Either hold your foot or just reach over your head. For a side stretch, and now face your foot and lower down over your leg. Same thing over to the other side. Left foot in the right inner thigh, side stretch, forward bend. Open the legs out. Lower down. Wide-legged forward bend. Keep your kneecaps lifted. Feet are flexing. Relax your hamstrings. You can stay here or you can reach side to side as well. These are all optional depending on your level of flexibility. You have to have some familiarity with these poses before you attempt to do them. And the next final hip opener is stacking the knees on top of each other. Work your feet as close to as you can. And once your feet are close to you, flex them and fold forward. You can stay up if folding forward is not an option for you. And just breathe. Come out of it and switch sides. You're gonna bring the opposite knee on top this time. Close to you, folding forward. Breathing. Breathe into your hips. This is another way to stretch the hips. So keep your breath conscious. Inhale, come up. And we're gonna go in full lotus here. If you're not familiar with full lotus, of course, you can just do half lotus on one side and then half lotus on the other just to work your way into lotus. The next is we're gonna work on peacock, hands pointing back at your knees, and lift off your body off the floor. Hold for a second, come out of it, stretch. Folding forward. Inhale, come up, lift over to one side, stretch over the other side, side stretches. And let's unwrap the legs, half lotus on one side and fold forward, forward bend. Inhale, come up, and over to the other side. Lift Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, come up. Exhale, release. And we can finish off with lotus meditation. Either stay in lotus or you can recline down and even lift on your elbows, fish pose or modified fish pose, bringing the crown of the head on the floor and lowering down, and either stay in lotus or make yourself comfortable in Shavasana. Namaste.